Okay, welcome to this video. We're going to show for you the InstAlert 6-panel drug screening test. It includes buprenorphine and methadone and opiates and benzodiazepines, amphetamine and cocaine. This combination is a useful one for anybody that's got an interest in drugs of abuse, and particularly Subutex or buprenorphine, which is increasingly being used by some treatment centres but is creeping onto the streets as well. This will also screen, as I said, for methadone, and opiates screens on there at 300 nanogram, and benzodiazepine or sedative tranquilizers are also screened on this test together with amphetamine and cocaine. So it's a very good combination of 6 drugs with individual results. The InstAlert brand of drugs of abuse test is manufactured by Innovacon Inc., American biotech company based in San Diego. It's distributed in the UK under a CE in vitro diagnostic professional brand by UK Drug Testing. So we're going to show you how this 6-panel drug test works. They come individually foil wrapped. On the back we'll have a listing with the codes of the drugs included on the panel, lot numbers and expiry dates. If we take this test out of the foil, just show you what you get. Here's the standard InstAlert multi-panel format. You've got the different codings on here. On this particular one there's 6 grouped on the front panel, so it's not a double-sided, they're all on a single panel. They've got the codings on there: COC for cocaine, AMP for amphetamine, MTD for methadone, MOP is the 300 nanogram opiate abbreviation, BZO for benzos, and BUP for buprenorphine. Take the cover off and you have your 6 prongs with wavy lines indicating the urines to go on there, and the maximum dip line for this, or dip depth, is the bottom of the panel. That shouldn't go into the sample. So I'm going to take this off camera now. Just dip it into a sample. It needs to stay in the sample for between 5 and 10 seconds to absorb sufficient liquid to run the test. And when that's occurred, you can bring it back onto the bench and just put the prongs back into the cover, and then everything that you've exposed into the urine sample is covered and closed so it can go onto a dry surface, laid flat. And what you'll see developing within these areas here is the pinkish dye osmotically being sucked up towards the top of the panel, and you'll see developing almost immediately some test lines, and then as it reaches the top area where the coding is, you'll see the control lines forming as well. Now what you will notice is the colour density and saturation of the test line varies between different tests. It's absolutely normal. And the control lines, again, colour density and saturation of those will be very similar if you wait for the full 8 minutes of development. But with all of these tests, as soon as you've got negative, clearly visible control and test lines showing, you can interpret the results as negative, and that may be as little as you've seen occurring here, 90 seconds, 2 minutes. What will occur if you just leave this now for the full 8 minutes is that the background will clear completely, leaving you with some really nice, clearly discernible lines, which are really nice and easy to interpret. And basically this is a competitive binding technology, as all these drug tests are. So if there's drug in the sample that you've added to the panel at or above the cutoff level predetermined for each of the individual drug groups, then that will completely saturate the test line and not allow any dye to form there. If there is an insufficient drug in the sample or no drug present, then the dye will form at the test line. So a negative result is indicated by a control and test line, and a positive result indicated by a control line with an absent test line showing at 8 minutes. So there you go, that's the InstAlert 6-panel drugs of abuse urine test demonstrated for you. I hope you can see that the actual results are very easy to interpret, and the other thing to emphasize is you can see perhaps on this bupe test membrane here, the test line there is much fainter than the next one to it, the benzos. You must not try to interpret anything by that. Any test line, whether it's thin, faint, whether the colour is very undiscernible, as long as there is test line discernible there, that's a clear negative result. You will get variance between these because they're all working at different sensitivities. They're all very accurate tests. You're looking at between 99 and 100% accuracy. For most of these days, it's very close to the GCMS tests. All positive tests should be confirmed, having said that, using a GCMS method. But really you can rely on these to exclude all your negative results with a high degree of confidence. So that's the InstAlert brand of multi-drug. This is a 6-panel drug test including buprenorphine and methadone, available from UK Drug Testing.